Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of decluttering and organizing the kitchen. Now your kitchen should be looking a lot better now if you followed the first 2 weeks. And of course, only the second week got put on video. The first week got incorporated with my regular video. But anyway, things should be looking better. Not perfect yet because, it said clean the counters and stuff, but you probably had spices and stuff on the counters that you needed to clean yet. So this week I have a challenge for you. Since next week we're going to be working on the refrigerator and the freezer, and this week we're working on pantry, my challenge is to not go to the grocery store very much and try to eat mostly out of your pantry, your fridge, and your freezer. Just try it for a week. It's been cold this week, so it's a good week to stay in and just use up some of the stuff that's in your pantry and in your freezer. And a lot of things you need to use up. Like if you have cans that say Best Buy and that Best Buy date has been passed, use your own judgment as to whether you want to use them or not, but if you decide to use them up quickly. Try to get them out of your house. One of the other things that we did this week, our schedule of 15-minute cleaning, is to go through your spices. Now this might take you a little bit longer than 15 minutes. It took me like an hour and a half. Mainly because I do a lot of cooking from scratch without using box products, which means I use a lot of spices. And if you remember correctly, last time you looked, it was full of spices all through here, just bottles of spices. Well, that was because during the baking season I had not filled up these spices or updated them. So what I did was I took all my spices out of the cabinet. If you remember, they were falling out on top of me earlier, and I have more spices on my baking shelf. So what I did was I took the spices all out. I took them out there, took them out from out here, and took them out here. Checked the dates on them, made sure they were all good, and then I wrote the date on the outside of the jar. That way it's easier than trying to read that small little print on the top or hunting everywhere on the side trying to find out if they're good or not. So I did that, and then I took and I emptied all the out-of-date ones and cleaned the jars, and this one's still drying. I wrote on the top with a chalk pen what it was and when its expiration date is, and I filled all these up. Now, the ones that are here, they go down there in storage. Those are for the spice rack only. So if I run out of spices here, I know to look over there. These up here are my specialty spices. Ones that I don't have room for in the spice rack, and ones I'm experimenting with and trying with and seeing if I really like them or not. They're blends and stuff, and they're up there, and they're not falling down on me anymore because I only put the ones that aren't in this batch. So that is one of the challenges, to go through your spices, find out what you need, what you don't need, replace those that you need. Like if you never make an apple pie and you have apple pie spice, don't go out and buy apple pie spice just because you had it before. If you're going to use it, fine. If not, no. Okay, so that was the first challenge I had. My second challenge for the next day was to go through my baking pans and organize them. Now it doesn't look organized, but believe me, it is organized. I know where everything's at. They're all stacked nicely, and I know where to get them. So that's my next project. Now, the next day was a little bit more difficult, and that is to clean out your pantry. Now, remember the other day when I said that not all kitchens were ideal, and sometimes you had to walk to get stuff? Well, that's what happened in this kitchen. There's no room in the kitchen for a pantry. The only pantry space I really have, canned goods, is this top shelf. Okay? And that's it. You know? Because everything else is taken up with appliances and stuff. And my baking shelf is this one down here. Okay? Which is actually organized. It's just that the top sort of keeps hitting. But it's organized. But that's not today's project. Today's project is the pantry, the canned goods. And I have to go through each one of these cans, check the dates on them, and then what I do is I write the date on the outside. Like this was supposed to be used up by December of last year. I will still use the December ones, and they're in this area here to be used up quickly. So I need to go through that drawer, and I need to go through the pantry. This I haven't quite got done yet. As you can tell, it is quite a mess. So I need to go through this pantry, organize things, get rid of things that are way too old, and rotate. I mean, I rotate once a month, but during the Christmas season, you kind of get things messed up. You just kind of shove them in the corner, and I'll deal with them later. So I gotta go through all this pantry stuff, and that's not all. I have the shelves in the basement, also with canned goods that are organized. But I need to bring the January stuff up, and I need to take anything that's 2027, 28. I need to take that down and put in the right bin downstairs. So I need to do that. So that's one of the things this week that I haven't quite gotten around to yet. And the other thing I want to do this week is kind of organize where the fresh fruit goes. Fresh food, not the stuff that needs to be refrigerated. When I bring home stuff that needs to be refrigerated, fresh products, it goes into the refrigerator. But I have a problem with the stuff that's room temperature, that you stay room temperature. And my solution to that is just out in the open. I have my onions and my potatoes in this rack. My bananas are there. Tomatoes and snacks are in the bowl. Because I have this bin where you're supposed to put the potatoes at. But every time I put my potatoes there, I end up with that. Not that I forget them. It's just that they don't keep well there. They seem to keep best out here in the open. So that's where I keep them. Alright, it's another day, and I've been working on my 15-minute a day challenge. And one of the challenges was to organize the canned food. And as you can see, I got all this one in the kitchen organized. This is the food that needs to be used up quickly. And then I have the other food that's what we used a lot of is put here. And then I went over to the other pantry. We've got 3 different areas where I keep food. And this one used to be the hall closet, but we changed it into a pantry. And as you can see, everything is now a lot neater than what it was before. On my cans, I write the dates on them, so that way I don't have to be picking them up and checking which ones needs to be used first. I know all these need to be used right away. And then on my packaged goods, I do the same thing. I write the date on them, and then I put them in order that they need to be used. So I need to use these in front first and work my way back. Same thing with any box mixes that I happen to have. Put the date on them, and need to use this pile first, this pile, and then this pile. And down here I have other food that's used this year, plus my leftover or extra baking supplies are in there. And down below is all the drinks, water, protein drinks, and some household stuff. We have in the basement a pantry, and everything's labeled like this is household stuff. And then we got November and May, 2028, 2027, August, January, and this is actually January through May, and then May through August, August through November, and then December down there, and 2027, August through December. So I have to go through all this, and again, I mark each can. As you can see, each can is marked with a date saying when it has to be used by. And it's put in these bins, and then I just bring up a bin and load up the pantry whenever it comes time. And the next thing on my list to do on the third week is to go through the pantry and check out the dates on the cans and make sure that anything that's past date, way past date, is either gotten rid of or used. And if I have an excess amount of what I don't think I'm going to be able to use, I could even donate it. But watch out when you donate stuff, because they do not take past expiration date food. So that is the challenge this week. 15 minutes. So, to recap what we were doing this week in our decluttering cleaning mission, is that we decided that since it's colder outside this week, it was a good week to do a pantry freezer challenge and try to not go out as much as possible and stay hunkered down in the house and fix meals at home, using the stuff out of the freezer and the refrigerator and the pantry. And what we also did, we organized all the spices one day, got rid of the moldy ones, the ones that were out of date, the ones that just didn't smell right, filled up all the spice jars and organized them. And then I went and organized, next day I organized all the bakeware and made sure the fresh produce area was clean and organized, and got rid of any bad fruit that was, our vegetables that were in there. And then the next day I started decluttering and organizing the canned goods, and that took 2 days actually. And then the next day I decluttered all the baking flour, sugar, anything that was out of date, and cleaned up that area, because that gets a little messy when you're baking. You get, flour doesn't always stay in the box, in the bag. So I decluttered all that and took care of that. And then the last day is I decluttered any of the shelves that were in the kitchen, open shelves. Now I don't have any in this kitchen, but the kitchenette upstairs has open shelves, so I had to refold the towels and put things, straighten them up a little. So that was the challenge of week 3. And at one point I actually filled out an inventory of everything that was in the pantry. That got to be too much trouble. I prefer my system is to just, like I said, label everything with the date and put it in the order, and you have to use it up in that order. So I do that instead of filling out an inventory that you have to constantly be changing every time you go to the shopping store. So that is how I work with it. So hopefully you're following along with me with this decluttering and cleaning of the kitchen. And we're going to be doing the whole house by the time we're done, because we're going to be doing 15 minutes a day for the rest of the year. And by the end of the year, your house should look a lot cleaner, especially if you establish, remember, week 1, establish a routine in your kitchen. At the end of the day, wipe down the counters, put things back where they're supposed to be, sweep or mop the floor if needed, and just tidy up. And if you get that into a habit of doing that every night after supper, you won't have a mess come January next year. At least not too much of a mess. So remember, like, share, subscribe, and don't waste a single day. Okay, God bless. Bye, everybody.